Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever looked at something you've created and just thought, I could probably sell this? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to walk through a guide that basically lays out the entire blueprint for turning that creative passion into a real, thriving online print business. So, let's just dive right in. I mean, it's the dream for so many of us creatives, right? The whole idea of taking something you made with your own hands, putting it out there, and having people love it so much they want it in their own homes, it's an amazing feeling. And for sure, it can be a fantastic business. But like with any big dream, there's always a little bit of a reality check. And yeah, here it is. The market for art prints is, well, it's packed. It is super, super competitive. You can't just throw a few random designs online and cross your fingers. That is the absolute fastest way to get completely lost in the noise. So how on earth do you stand out? Well, it all boils down to one simple core idea. And this quote right here, it nails it. This is the secret sauce. Seriously, put yourself in the buyer's shoes for a second. You're drawn to an experience that feels cohesive, that feels curated and intentional. You want to feel like you've walked into a cool little gallery, not like you're digging through a messy flea market stall. That is the mindset we need to have. So step one on this whole journey is making that shift from just creating art as a hobby to actually building a brand. And that all starts with finding and defining a really clear, recognizable style that people can see and immediately know, oh, that's your work. And you can really see the difference here. Over on the left, you've got the jumble sale approach. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, all mixed together. It looks like a hobby. But then on the right, you have the curated gallery. It's focused, it tells a story, it just looks like a legitimate brand. That's the goal. That's the transformation we're aiming for. And if you're feeling a little stuck on what your style should be, this is a great place to start brainstorming. These are all niches that just sell consistently well because they fit so nicely into people's homes and lives. Whether it's the super clean vibe of minimalist art or the cozy feel of vintage prints, the key is to pick a lane and build a whole collection around it. Okay, so once you've really landed on your style, the next step is absolutely crucial. You have to design prints that people will actually want to buy. This is where you have to put on a different hat. You're not just an artist anymore, you're also a product designer. Now, you've got to make a choice pretty early on. Are you going to sell physical prints or digital downloads? Physical prints, they feel really premium, they're perfect for gifts, and you get total control over the quality. But digital downloads, they're infinitely scalable, and there are zero shipping costs. The downside is you might get more customer service questions. A really smart strategy is to start with physical prints as your core product, but maybe offer digital versions as a more budget-friendly option. And you always have to remember this. Your art is going to live in someone else's home. And that means you have to design with their space in mind. We're talking about things like clean compositions, colors that will work with common interior design palettes, and text that's actually easy to read. Your art can totally still be bold and unique, but it also has to be, well, livable. Oh, this is such a simple tip, but it is so, so powerful. If a customer looks at your print and has to wonder, am I going to be able to find a frame for this? You might have just lost a sale. By offering standard, easy-to-frame sizes like A4 and A3, you just get rid of that hesitation. And even better, sell them in sets. It's a great way to increase your average order value. Okay, let's talk about money. Pricing is, without a doubt, the area where so many talented creators get trapped. If you underprice your work, you can end up working constantly, being super busy, but still being broke, and we want to avoid that at all costs. Before you can even dream about profit, you have to know what your real costs are. And it's not just the paper and ink. Nope. It's the protective sleeve, the sturdy mailer, the shipping label, the cut that the payment processor takes, and, most importantly, your time. All of that has to be baked into your price. Here's a really cool psychological trick. Use a tiered pricing strategy. It helps guide your customer. You offer an easy, low-cost entry point and a high-end premium option, but you position that middle tier, like an A3 print or a set of prints, as the best value. For most people, that makes it the most obvious and appealing choice. So now you've got your style, your products, and your prices all figured out. You need a place to actually sell them. So let's talk about how to build an online gallery that doesn't just look pretty, but that actually convinces people to hit that buy button. A perfect product page answers every single question before a customer even thinks to ask it. Be ridiculously clear about the sizes, the type of paper you use, and this is a big one, whether or not a frame is included. Even showing a picture of your really nice, sturdy packaging can be that final little push a gift buyer needs to feel confident in their purchase. Your product photos have two very different jobs to do. First, you have the mockups, the ones showing your art hanging in a beautiful room. That's what does the selling. It helps the customer picture it in their own space. But then you have the close-up shot, the one that shows the paper texture and the quality of the print. That's what builds trust and confirms the value. You absolutely need both. Now, for a lot of creative people, this is where the momentum can just grind to a halt. You're an artist, right? Not necessarily a web developer. And the technical side of setting up a whole e-commerce shop can feel so overwhelming that it stops you before you can even get started. And that is exactly why services like Make Local for Global exist. They're literally designed for creators who want a professional-looking online store without that massive technical headache. The whole idea is that they handle the build, the setup, and all the techie stuff so you can just stay focused on what you're actually good at, making amazing art. The biggest appeal of a service like this is just speed. They aim to get a fully professional, ready-to-sell online store live in just 5 days. That completely bypasses the weeks or maybe even months an artist might spend trying to figure it all out on their own.
And the pricing is usually really straightforward. For instance, their local plan is £99 a year. That covers the store build, the domain name, hosting, email setup, the whole shebang. It's really positioned as an all-in-one package to just get you up and running.
Okay, so I know this all might sound like a lot to take in, but I promise you it is absolutely doable. So let's wrap this all up with a really practical, actionable plan to take you from a totally blank page to an open running shop in just 1 month. And here it is, all broken down week by week. Week 1 is all about the fun, creative stuff, defining your style. Week 2 is production mode, making all your mock-ups and product pages. Week 3 is about logistics, figuring out your packaging. And then week 4 is when you finally get to start telling the world about it. It's a really clear, manageable path to launching your business. If you only take away one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. This one sentence is the entire business model. If you can just nail these 4 things, you will build a print business that doesn't just survive, it'll actually grow. And so that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. You've got the blueprint, you've got the strategy. The only thing left to do now is to start creating. So, what's your first collection going to be?